Next, presidential candidate Michael Bloomberg speaks at the Virginia Democratic Party dinner in Richmond, their largest fundraising event of the year. 99 delegates are at stake in Virginia's primary, part of Super Tuesday on March 3rd.
Honored guests, Democratic candidate for president and former mayor of New York City, Mike Bloomberg.
Thank you. Thank you. How we doing? We'll wait for the music to stop. Hello, everyone. How we doing? We'll try that again. I can't even see that far at both ends, so I'm sure you're there. But if I've learned anything tonight, it's that Virginia Democrats know how to put on a party-in, party dinner. And I wanted to thank Chair Schwecker for inviting me here tonight. What about another round of applause for her? Okay. It's always nice to be welcomed. And thank you for being in this venue with me. I'm glad to be back in Virginia. This is the very first state that I came to when I launched my campaign a couple of months ago. And since then, I've been to 62 cities in 25 states. But I've been to Virginia more than anywhere else. In fact, I was just here last week. I was meeting with veterans starting businesses, including one who's opened a bakery. And yesterday was my birthday, so I thought I might go back for a piece of birthday cake. Those entrepreneurs seriously reminded me what it was like to start a business, and to this day, I've never had more fun than I did when I started my business, and I was basically doing every job by myself. Now, you're probably asking, why have I been coming to Virginia so much? Well, yes, in part because the Virginia craft breweries, one of which I visited today. And I had a WIPA called None of This Makes Any Sense. Who knew? That's actually a pretty good summary of the Trump administration. Which brings me to the other reason that I've been coming to Virginia so much. Because if we are going to beat Donald Trump in 2020, we absolutely must win this Commonwealth. And we can't wait until the primary is over to start campaigning here. Our work starts now. Yes, you can applaud for that. Now, as many of you know, I've been involved in Virginia politics since long before I became a presidential candidate. Back in 2013, I was a big supporter of Terry McAuliffe in his race for governor. And I'm glad I was, because he proved Virginia could help point the way towards a better future for our country. Of course, Virginia was also forced to grapple with its past when Terry was in office. And we all know the events in Charlottesville invoked some of the darkest chapters in our history. Chapters we are all reminded of in this neighborhood, where thousands of slaves were bought and sold and separated from their loved ones. That history is one of the reasons Americans felt so much pain when President Trump said, "very fine people," among the Nazis and Klansmen were marching in Charlottesville. But as tragic as that day was, it was also a galvanizing moment for many people. Because Virginia and across this country, Americans stood up and said, "we cannot accept this." And I was honored to stand with all of those who spoke out for what this country really stands for. And I was glad to support candidates here in Virginia in 2017, 2018, and 2019 who I knew would fight against the hatred on display in Charlottesville. Last month, all of that work paid off when, for the first time in more than 25 years, Virginia Democrats took control of both chambers of the legislature. And I'm happy that they won, but I'm even happier about what they've done. It's only been a month since they took office, and already you've taken action to end our epidemic of gun violence. So let's hear it for Lori Hass. Lori Hass and all the other leaders who made this possible. Your legislature has also made progress expanding voting rights so every voice can be heard at the ballot box. And you've protected reproductive rights because you understand that women have a right to make their own decisions about their own bodies. And you've raised the minimum wage because no American who works full-time should live in poverty. You've taken steps to ban LGBTQ+ discrimination because Virginia really is for all lovers. And half a century after it was first proposed, you became the 38th state to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment, declaring once and for all that women deserve equality under the law. Now, this progress you've made didn't happen overnight. It happened because the people in this room believed a red Commonwealth could become a blue Commonwealth. And you worked around the clock to make it so, making phone calls, knocking on doors, and getting voters to the polls. So before I say anything else, I want to say thank you. Thank you for all the good work you've done for this great state. Give yourself a round of applause. Now, I want to be very clear about why I am in this race. I am running to defeat Donald Trump. And I am running to restore honor to our government and to build a country that we are proud of and to start getting things done and to start putting the United back in the United States of America. At the 2016 Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia, I warned that Donald Trump was not fit for office. And in 2018, I worked to help flip 21 House seats, which made Nancy Pelosi Speaker and allowed us to begin holding Trump accountable. And since the Republican Senate didn't have the courage to remove the president for office, it's up to us to do it this November. I got into this race 11 weeks ago because I was deeply concerned that Donald Trump was on track to win the election, and I could not sit by and let that happen. Our campaign has been getting a great response all over America. We are running a campaign for change, a campaign for sanity, a campaign for honesty, for inclusion, for compassion, and a campaign for human decency. And we're running hard here in Virginia because, no mistake, Virginia is still very much up for grabs in 2020, and we're not waiting until the general election to organize here. We've already knocked on more than 32,000 doors in the state, made more than 72,000 phone calls, and I've hired more than 82 staffers to work right here in Virginia. And I want you to know I'm here to stay no matter who comes out on top of this primary, so we can elect Democrats up and down the ballot. And say goodbye to Donald Trump. Let's face it, Donald Trump is the world's biggest schoolyard bully, with no respect for civility or decency or facts or honesty. And our party needs a candidate who can go toe-to-toe with him and take the fight to him. Just think about the past few weeks. The president has been busy insulting the Democratic candidates. He does that a lot, you know. When you can't defend your record on health care or wages or the environment, you resort to insults. Well, Donald Trump's insults don't bother me. I've never run away from a fight, and I can just tell you, he's not going to bully me, and I won't let him bully you either. I've been pretty blessed. There is nothing Donald can do or say that can hurt me. But he has hurt a lot of other people, and that's why I'm running. To stand up for every American who has lost his or her job or lost their insurance, who can't pay the college tuition. And my whole career, I've been a doer, and I believe we need less talk, less partisanship, less division, and less tweeting. In fact, how about a commitment from me that when I'm in the Oval Office, no tweeting evermore? Now, that's easy for me to say since I can't spell. Then neither can Donald. Even though Donald and I are both from New York, the truth is we couldn't be more different. In fact, I'm the un-Trump. Just think about it. He breaks promises, I keep them. He divides people, I unite them. He's a climate denier, I'm an engineer. I actually believe in science, imagine that. He tweets, I follow facts, respect data, and tell the truth. He looks out for people who inherited their wealth, like him, while I'm self-made. And I will raise the estate tax to generate some of the revenue we need to start fighting income inequality. He is stubborn. I'm a leader who can be honest about my mistakes. And I believe when you make a mistake, you just learn from it. And next time, do right. Now, when I first took office, families in New York City were losing their children to gun violence at alarming rates. And my focus was clear. I wanted to save lives and respond with urgency to the crisis that was plaguing our communities. And while many of the ways we tried to reduce gun violence and invest in communities were right, and we reduced murder by half, there is one approach that I deeply regret: the use of a police practice called stop and frisk. I defended it for too long, I think, because I didn't understand the unintended pain it caused to young black and brown kids and to their families. I should have acted sooner and faster to stop it, and for that, I have apologized. I've spent a long time speaking with black leaders and community members. I've listened to their stories, I've heard their pain, their confusion, their anger, and I've learned from them, and I think I've grown from them. I know I can't change history, but what I can do is learn from my mistakes and use those lessons to do right by black and brown communities who have suffered. So tonight, let me be clear. As President of the United States, I will work to dismantle systems that are plagued by bias and discrimination. I will invest in the communities that have borne the brunt of those systems for generations. And I will put this work at the very top of my agenda. Now, it won't be easy, but I also know that we can do it. Because unlike other candidates, I don't just talk about doing things. I have a record of reaching across the aisle and getting them done. Let me just give you a few quick examples. Other candidates talk about raising teachers' salaries. As mayor, I raised them in New York by 43%. They talk about improving public schools. I raised graduation rates by more than 40%. They talk about improving health care. In New York, I cut the number of uninsured by 40%, improved care for mothers and babies, and raised life expectancy by 3 whole years. Others talk about fighting climate change. I cut New York City's carbon footprint by 13% and helped create a grassroots movement to close more than 300 dirty, polluting coal-fired power plants across this country. Green jobs and a greener planet, we can get it done together. Others talk about stopping gun violence. In New York City, we cut murders by 50%, and we've taken on the NRA by creating a gun safety group with 6 million members. We've passed stronger gun laws in more than 20 states, thanks to so many Moms Demand Action volunteers who made it happen. You know, I was elected mayor just 7 weeks after the devastating terrorist attacks of 9/11. Our city was in tatters and our economy was in recession. But I brought people together in the city, and we created nearly 500,000 new jobs and 175,000 units of affordable housing. We reduced street homelessness by 30%. We launched new programs to fight poverty, and we rebuilt our city stronger than ever. Now, some of you may have heard the slogan, "Mike will get it done." Well, let me tell you what the "it" is. It means winning this November and sending Donald Trump back to Mar-a-Lago permanently. But that's just the beginning, because getting it done means finally providing health insurance to every American who lacks it and lowering costs for everybody else. Getting it done means passing common-sense gun safety laws that protect our children and our communities. Getting it done means making America a global leader in the fight against climate change. Getting it done means creating good jobs with higher wages. Getting it done means addressing discrimination and inequality. Getting it done means finally fixing our broken immigration system and creating a path to citizenship for the 11 million people who are living in the shadows. Getting it done means protecting a woman's right to choose and appointing judges who will defend that right. And getting it done means providing health insurance to every single American. Now, over the past 2 decades, I've taken on the toughest fights and won. I've taken on Donald Trump and won many times. Beat him on gun safety, I beat him on coal pollution, and beat him in flipping the House blue in 2018 elections, and I'm ready to do it again. But I can't do it alone. So if you want health insurance for everyone, if you want to combat inequality with fairer taxes and better jobs, if you support my commitment to quality public education no matter what zip code you live in, if you share my belief in opportunity for all, not just for the few, if you are ready to defend the Constitution of the United States, and if you are ready to clean out the Oval Office and get things done, then I'd be honored to have your help, your support, and yes, your vote. Thank you for coming and support this great organization.
Follow Campaign 2020